So we're going to talk about red striping today. We got two treats here. I'm not allowed candy, junk food. My nieces aren't allowed candy or junk food. Not if they were with me. This is the extent of what I'm allowed. If you don't know what this is, it's the double Orer stripe. Like panda candy. Black licorice. All right, so we're going to share screen for the rest of the time. Share. So we're going to talk about red striping. What is red striping? Oh my God. It sounds like a buzzword. I am not allowed anything. Let me say this again. Everything has such a severe 100%, let me say this again, 100% karmic return just from Gaebara. And then there's a karmic return from Bina. So I'm not allowed anything. This is why monks in the Eastern religions will just sit and starve in the dirt, because they know this. I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm barely allowed to eat anything. Like, because they understand that Maleficent Odessa, or Maleficent Goddess, is at Bina about to slay them. Let me say this again. Maleficent is at Bina, who's about to slay them. So they're not allowed anything. So this is why you become a renunciate in life. So how do you do this in the West? And how do you do it where you're like a millennial? And if you're an indigo, you're screwed. Let me say that again. Here's my first Orer stripe. It goes on your right shoulder. So this is, so the mirror is backwards. This is my right shoulder. That looks like it's my left. If you're an indigo, you're screwed. If you're an indigo, you've been sentenced to death. Seriously. If you're a crystal mutate, you can survive because you're Christ. Here's my second Orer stripe. So if I'm allowed candy, it's because of this. Like, it's a double Orer stripe. That's all I'm allowed. It's just for like, this is Maleficent doing that to your arm. And so, and then you look at the package and it goes panda, and then it's like, it's the Hufflepuff color. So you think in your head, it's like a Huffle, like you're like the Hufflepuff, or and you're screwed. So I'm gonna eat this. I don't even like the flavor of this. It tastes gnarly. And that's the point. Let me say this again. I don't even like the flavor of this. Do you understand what aura is like? So we're gonna start with our food. We kind of started with red striping with the telomere binding and the telomere binding diet, but we're gonna go over it really deep. Oh, can I do all my ribbon knotting at the same time? I don't know. Am I allowed to do? Humility. Humility. Sorry. How do I eat my double orange? Now you understand red striping. There is nothing like that on this planet. Your hands are just up all the time and you have no control and you're just going to eat it. I'm going to say this again. You're just going to eat it. So the biggest point about the telomere binding is that it comes at the second stripe or paperwork and probably all the ribbon knotting. We're going to talk about this and then I'm going to be doing it while we go over all the diet and the food. We're going to talk about stuff like this. We're going to talk about stuff like this. We're going to talk about jars. We're going to talk about our avocados, our 2-a-day avocados. We're going to talk about our coffee. We're going to be talking about our homemade kimchi. And we're going to be talking about our 10,000 hours. No, it's 5,000 hours of Rapello's squibtum and our blueberry Christmas tree, just as a hint. We have a whole video for the blueberry Christmas tree, just so we understand like how deep it will go. But like your home is gonna look like this. This is called red striping. Oh no, Marshall's wand. Like like should we show you? Or is it secret? Let me paint you a picture. It looks like this. So these are the non-made knots. They're the so this is what a made knot looks like. See how it's all fuzzy and it looks like a Rapello squibtum spell. So that's a knot. And then this is like it's all cut and ready. So this is what I would take 20 minutes before I go on a train. Let me say this again. I'd spend 20 minutes preparing this and then cutting it in half to go on a train and then do my ribbon knotting on the train. I am not lazy. I am not lazy. Let's see how not lazy I am. Every time I do a ribbon knot, it's net sock energy. So it's at a red stripe. Let me say this again. Every time, instead of being in code, I am a human computer robot that has to do 500 million things in my brain and nothing ever works out the way I want it to. And I look like a stupid demon with a gun sometimes. And I'm just stuck in logical processing and I can't even organize anything efficiently. You see how ugly your face looks in Hode? And beauty begins in Netzach. So it's 5,000 hours of this nodding. And it ends up with, that's the bigger version. That's almost about as big as you'd want it. Maybe you're allowed one size bigger. You're allowed to do them longer. But the point is that you want them at 3 millimeters. We're going to talk about that too. The size differentials is like the 6 millimeter ribbon. That's about as small as you can cut in half, but maybe you can cut the 3 millimeter ribbon in half. And then you've got the viral version. It's the virus version of the Repel Squibtum spell. And so it's like the air is literally the air is emanating Repel Squibtum at that level. Okay. We have an idea because like seeds, when you spread seeds, when they're microfine dust, like spores, so you need all variations of sizes. Okay. So this is the medium size. This is 10 centimeters or 10 millimeters. It's like 5/8 of an inch. And then you want the inch. And the inch one's kind of like this is the inch one. All right. Let's talk about red striping. Dye it. So normally, should I finish this? Should you get a notebook to prepare? We're going to talk about water also. Where do I get my water? All right. I'm going to share a quick story with you. I went to the store and I bought those because I've been picking them up. I pick them up off the like the floor, like they're everywhere. And I go, oh, I can tie these around Marshall's wand and I can attach a lot of these knots to them. So that's disgusting. Don't ever do that. if that's on Lucifer's wand, you can pick them up off the floor and then it's Netzach, but you are not allowed to buy it at the grocery store. So I'm thinking I'm going to buy a bunch of those metal straws, those recyclable metal straws, and then tie all of the stuff to keep everything organized and tidy. And that seems really nice. And then I realized that that's just more consumption. I'm not allowed to. So these are the straws that break the camel's back. You're not allowed to buy a straw to put your knotting on. That's stupid. Go pick up a stick. You're allowed to buy the red stripe ribbon. There is 1,000 times the karma return on every purchase. Let me say this again. There is only a salt karma on every single purchase you buy. You're not allowed anything. You're required to produce fish and loaves for the future. Mandatory. That is not an exception. That's not even brilliant. That's just pure survival and Netzach mentality. let me say this again. You're required to produce fish and loaves in the future. You're not allowed to buy anything. And that's not even special. That's baseline survival. That's where we have made it to on this planet. Now, you're not allowed to buy a straw. You're allowed to take a stick and then wrap it and then create Repello's squibtum all over your stick like they're fake wands. And then you're allowed to put those wands on your altar. As many of these full-blooded, bodied Repello's squibtum knots as you can manage. And then maybe you're allowed to sell them. We don't know. We have to talk about jars and how to prep jars. Okay. God. You're gonna find out that some ribbons, like you're gonna see that they're the same exact ribbon and they're not the same. They're not even the same color, even if you ordered the same color. They're not the same texture and they're not the same fray quality. So you're gonna have to go shopping for all that stuff and you're gonna graduate. So just that is a waste, but it's not a waste because we're just making Repello's squibtum knots. And you're gonna find out what is even gonna work. Yes. So let's begin with food. The more red stripy you are, like I am red-handed. I know just buying the red ribbon creates blood for Mother Earth. And I know I'm 100% bound to that karma on my own physical body. There are no exceptions. There's no forgiveness. There's no exceptions. It's just Maleficent at Bina that's gonna slay you. Just for this. Because you haven't even entered your house ribbons yet. I'm all the Ravenclaws knots. Like, I won't do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to think this. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be this. 5,000 hours of the blue and 5,000 hours of the silver. So it's a meditation. And so, like, how do you find the most organic of the ribbons? Yep. So now, like, you guys don't really understand. So the more red stripy you are, the more you walk into a grocery store and you can go, ping, that is for me. Ping, that one's for me. Ping, that one's for me. Like the stuff, like everything at the grocery store looks illegal except for 3 things. Let's say that again. The whole grocery store looks illegal. It looks like chaos, disaster, mess. It looks like it's waste. It's plastic. It's disgusting. It's low quality. You're not allowed anything. All of it's illegal. And 3 things light up and it glows. That's red striping. I'm not allowed to buy anything. Now, an ascended master doesn't need to be nagged about this, but we do have to be like gently reminded. And that's why we do the 5,000 hours of Repello's squibtum, to remind us that we don't have actual magic yet. Let me say that again. It's to remind us that we don't have actual magic yet. We haven't even done our house ribbons to begin Hogwarts yet in the real world, and then do 10 years of schooling at Hogwarts. So, like, that's the realer version of all of it. Okay, so we're going to start with the diet and food. So this is our red stripe diet, but it's telomere binding. So it's anti-aging and it's high NETZOC. Red clover. So we have 3 substances. Let me say this again. 3 substances. Now, red clover is going to work for your root chakra. It makes your root chakra glow and it looks, so it will heighten your estrogen levels, especially if you're running a lot of excessive red ray and you're a female. It will produce like, so it's anti-menopausal. So it's known for like dealing with menopause, but that's because it rebalances your hormonal structure. When we built the red clover egg, it was like the vagina monologues. So we know it's all about female estrogen, just on a spiritual basis. So it's really good for your skin. It's really good for your bones. It says makes hair stronger. It reduces cancer. It's a cancer prevention, but the biggest thing is it's for your bones and your skin and your root chakra and estrogen levels and balancing hormones. So that's like, so what we're gonna do is we go and we can just take our capsules. So when I red stripe, I can go into a drugstore and everything's illegal except for this. Let me say that again. So this, let's say you're 30 and you don't want to age and you want to keep your estrogen levels good as you increase your testosterone, because we're going into muscle building. We're going into increased root chakra activity. So at that level, like, oh my God, how wonderful. I wish I was told about red clover when I was in my 30s. I mean, I'm still in my 30s, but as we clean out the clipit, the red clover, it just begins to bring out the feminine energy in our body. So I'm gonna buy this. It's 30 pounds at the grocery or at Holland and Barrett. It says it's 14 pounds here, but it's 30 pounds for the bottle that I wanted. And I'm gonna go buy it in a month. And then I'll take a capsule a day. Like it's not fluff. Let me say this again. It's not fluff. All right. So here we go with our echinacea. We already covered this before, but we're gonna go over everything again because we added a bunch of new things that were secret. It was like all top secret. Oh no. All right, so the echinacea drops. This is going to recenter. It's a rebuild our entire body. It is good for scar tissue and immunity support. So if you want to rebuild an entire new body, you need the echinacea. Let me say this again. Isn't it kind of funny that they all kind of look like Rapello Squibtum spells also? Yeah, there's a weird pattern there. But what they are doing is, so I'm going to buy the drops, the echinacea drops like this. And then there's 2 glasses a day of water. Ooh, so I have 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, and I'm going to rebuild my body. Here we go with the artichoke, the sayonara drops. Artichoke sayonara drops. So this is to promote healthy digestive system. So what I got as the download is that it melts the poisonous snake inside your intestine. So wherever your intestines are like a snake that's about to strike somebody. So the artichoke, the sayonara drops goes into that snake and then melts it from the inside. That's what it looked like. And I know it increases the bile production and it aids in digestion also, but that's the psychic version of what it looked like, is that an artichoke was being fed into a rattler or like a viper that was about to bite, and then it was melted into a python, and then it was melted, then the python was melted into like a Hufflepuff goo. Let me say that again. So artichoke sayonara, how to take your Slytherin intestines and make your intestines more into Hufflepuff territory. I don't I don't need a poisonous snake intestine. I need a Hufflepuff intestines at the least. Okay. So here again is our English breakfast tea. And I'm trying to look at what this is for. So it's Taylor's. So, but I know the pun, it's like, wake up, we're red striping. So I know that just the packaging pun is wake up, we're red striping. I like just this one, this picture right here with the hand. Still like, wake up, we are red striped. So I should I be like doing my knots right now as I'm talking? So just sometimes, like, this was also in the health. This was also part of the health for the red striping. I'm trying to look at, like, it provides grounding. That's all I'm seeing. I'm trying to find the psychic intuition of why there's, I'm looking at kidneys, adrenals, I'm looking at the colon. It's pretty okay for the colon. It's almost like a grounding mechanism for your stomach. And it's big on the, it's a liver. Okay. So like, why would I be asked to take this? So it's not good. Like, I don't see it working on the gallbladder, but definitely the liver. And then I go thyroid. It's a thyroid stimulator also. Okay. Pituitary gland. Yeah, so it also works on the pituitary gland. Woo, good. All right, so now we go green tea matcha. No, go back. We need this. All right, so we're going to talk about going out to coffee. So it's like, wake up. So in the morning, instead of going to Starbucks or Pret or something like Argento or Amaretto coffee, we were shown that almost none of the coffee shops on this, like, Pret is an organic coffee store, and they were confessed they do not hit even red stripe. And they are now, the one thing that was available and accessible was the green tea matcha. And we had a subscription to Pret. We had a subscription to Pret that was 25 pounds a month. We could have as much coffee as we wanted, but the CRI return on that is junk, and it does not hit red stripe. So we're not allowed that. The green tea matcha hit red stripe, and that was all that it hit, or that was the only thing on the menu that hit red stripe. They took it off the menu. So now Pret has gone under completely on the CRI. They are not going to ascend at all. And so now I have to think, okay, so there goes all my free green tea matcha. Now I'm going to go shop for green tea matcha. And so I go and I find it at the Asian food market, and I find it inexpensive at the Asian food market. Let me say this again. Where a normal grocery store, it's like 10 or 11 pounds. or like $15 for a little bag of matcha. At an Asian food market store, the same quality, the same exact quality of green tea matcha powder is $5. So we're going to learn about that. So when you're red striping and you have super heightened intuitions, you can go into an Asian food market and see what pings. So let me say that, like EFES. So you can read the package label just by like an intuition button. So green tea lattes are mandatory. So we go, here's our green tea. Here's our coffee. I get this one because it looks Ravenclaw, the Honduras ground solar powered. Grumpy Mule. So the CRI on this is acceptable. It's probably one of the higher qualities on the market. It's fair trade and it's organic. Like, it's not even very expensive. Like a bag of that's like £5. And then we go milk. So I'm trying to find the highest quality organic milk on the market. And actually the Yeo Valley is at 2 red stripes. So that's not bad. I have there's a really big difficulty. I did not go to Whole Foods. Let me say this again. I did not go to Whole Foods yet to see what other milk products are out there for actual milk, actual dairy milk. But this is at 2 red stripes. So you don't want below a red stripe, and you definitely don't want below 2 red stripes. Oh, here's our pant. So then we go, here's our dessert. Our double or striped dessert. So like I never allowed anything. We're gonna add something to our list to make coffee. Golden castor sugar. This is the highest. This is the highest return Ravenclaw sugar that we found so far. It's not organic. It is organic. There's this one. We're doing okay on the sugar. Why this company has been popping up. They also carry all the Demerara. So that goes in with the green tea matcha. All right. So we're going to show you one something really quickly. So here's our pant, like, so that's the level of sweet I'm allowed in my life, is a bag of sugar and everything else is homemade. And then if I want junk candy that's processed prepackaged, it's this. And you're going to pair it with this. This is our video. This is you at a second stripe or that's like after your 7th house ribbons. Do you understand? So that's 25,000 hours of ribbon knotting. That's 25,000 hours of ribbon knotting. If they cut this out of the video, you go to Pathetic Baby Panda. Let me say that again. I'll put the link underneath, like in the text, but it's the most pathetic baby panda. I don't want them to, sometimes they filter because of weird stuff. The most pathetic baby panda ever video, and watch it. All right. So that's you at 2-stripe oar. That's 100 A&R dragons. That's pink with pink marks. That's 7,000 and 25,000 hours of ribbon knotting. And this class, the full class on top of it. Just don't think that you're not going to get out of bed like that every single day and go wake up for red striping. So we got our good coffee. We have our great homemade coffee, green tea matcha latte. Yeah. And then we have our good English breakfast tea. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, Brazil nuts. You're allowed Brazil nuts. Avocados, 2 of these a day. Not joking. 2 of them a day. Your muscle build. This is like your muscle building. 1 oar stripe, 2 oar stripes. 2 of them a day. Find a junkie local grocer at your corner and then figure out how to, if you cannot figure out how to do that, you're not going to make it in this world. I can guarantee you. You got to figure out. Now, like if you're living off of your parents' budget, figure out how to sneak them to like buy you 2 avocados a day. Just like you've got to be manipulative, and you've got to be cunning, and you got to be smart. Like there is nothing else on this planet. All right, holy basil. So we're gonna chop up fresh basil, and we're gonna throw it on our 2 avocados every day, and we're gonna eat them together. And it's just raw, not cooked. Maybe you can cook it on some of this other stuff. So then we have ghee. What do we eat on, like, so here's our version of butter. We're allowed ghee. So this is the ghee that popped up at Whole Foods. This one. Ghee easy. Pure organic cooking oil. What? It's butter cooking oil. That's nice. So forget complaining about anything. Like, you're allowed butter. Get good stuff. So it's cooking oil or buttery spread, or yeah. Woohoo. Pure butter ghee. My yoga teacher used to talk about ghee all the time, and I would just go in one ear and out the other, and I still haven't bought it. We're gonna buy it a lot because it's a yoga food. This whole thing is a yoga. This is yoga by Cully in actuality. All right, so here we go. Here's our lotions. So this is what we're allowed. We're allowed to buy our $150 lotion or oil, essential oil. If you can't buy the expensive kind, you buy the cheaper version. So it's Melissa or Lemon Balm. So this smells nice. You just like this. That's, I can budget and then buy it at the end of the year. Let me say this again. I can buy the cheap one and then budget and then buy it at the end of the year. And then put a drop of it into this lotion. This is the only lotion that has been approved. It's this or coconut oil. Let me say that again. Burt's Bees Baby, fragrance free, 100% natural, 99.9 or it's 99.0 natural for babies. Nothing more. There's nothing at Whole Foods that I'm allowed. There's nothing at Planet Organic that I'm allowed. There's definitely nothing at CVS that I'm allowed, or whatever drugstore is here in Europe. You're not allowed anything on your skin. You're allowed food on your skin called coconut oil or Burt's Bees Baby. Like, that's it. So then you put a little bit of the lemon, and then sometimes you put a little bit of the rose absolute. Okay, so now we're gonna go and we're gonna look at spices. Bulk organic herbs and spices. Okay, so this was secret until today, so we didn't add this into the telomere binding video, but in case I die, I want you guys to have this knowledge. Acacia powder. So I think we would do this where we're gonna make like a peanut butter and banana smoothie. What do I ingest the acacia powder? Probably. So the acacia powder is part of the telomere binding diet. Let's go down this list. It was Angelica. Where is the Angelica stuff? You haven't even gotten there. Ancho pepper powder. Angelica root powder. Oh my God. It's white, red, white. We have one more red and then a pink one. So anise kind of pops up, but it's not on our real list. So ancho red powder. Beetroot kind of pops up. Oh no. Cayenne powder, smoked. The cayenne powder. Yeah. I think that's it for our red. It's not the chipotle. So the next thing is a rose. Cornflowers. This is annoying. I'm sorry. If you want to get the echinacea, that other stuff is better striped. Echinacea Peru herbs. So like you can go ahead and get the herbs this way also. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't ruin my life. Need the Zen guy. So this is the go. Yeah, so that I believe that's the Korean red pepper. So that goes in the kimchi. So if you just scroll through everything, things will pop up and you'll start to see. But this is for the red striped telomere diet. Kale, kind of. Let me say this again. Kale, kind of. Everyone went nutso on kale. It's great for health and digestion. It was really big for like purifying and detoxing your whole body as fast as possible, like a 90-day juice cleanse. Definitely kale is on that list. I need a really fast health overhaul. So kale is great for longevity, telomere binding. Kale is not on that list, but it still should be part maybe of a healthy diet. All right, this is annoying. Sorry. Maybe you guys like seeing all the different things. Neem. The neem oil for lotions also popped up. So know that as well. So that's kind of acceptable. Oh my gosh. We're at O. Paprika is kind of okay. All right. So we definitely, so it was cayenne and ancho powder, angelica root powder, and acacia powder. And then now it's going to be this rose thing. Red clover blossoms. It's like rose powder. Or rose, yeah, so it's how do I eat that? Probably put it in a pill and digest it. That's so you have to research how you're gonna be able to do it. And I know that rose is not great for pregnant people, and there are other health risks at eating rose. And then there's vanilla. Let's go to the vanilla yucca root. Vanilla beans whole. How do you deal with how do you deal with vanilla beans? Does anybody know? So that's our other secret ingredient, that plus our matcha. All right, next. Tomato sauce. So this is the one that usually pops up for me is the Biana organic tomato sauce. And I'm going to do it on broccoli or whole wheat pasta at the worst, not the gluten-free pasta that has no actual medicinal or nutritious value at all. I'm going to take zucchini and I'm going to make bruschetta off of it. Let me say this again. I'm going to take zucchini. I'm going to create bruschetta with good tomato sauce and then maybe a good blue cheese. You're allowed blue cheese. So find the best blue cheeses out there. So we're going to look at, these are my favorite blue cheeses. I really like Humboldt Fog, but they don't take good care of their animals I'm seeing. And What is the CRI analysis on this? Is ultimately a confession. So you can look for good blue cheeses out there, and this is the one of the best tasting blue cheeses. This is great. It's a great cheese on the market, and it's like a confession. And like here is like an Ore Stripe, Red Stripe company, and this is Mount Tam, and this is for brie. So I'm not going to put brie on my bruschetta, but I'm allowed something like this in my life. Oh my goodness. So I'd rather have something like a nice, so I'm going to have broccoli with my tomato sauce. I'm going to have zucchini with my tomato sauce, and I'm going to have maybe a little bit of whole wheat pasta with my tomato sauce. Then we have red dal, we're allowed. And here is our good evening tea. This is our evening tea before we go to bed, and it's this nice reishi tea for brain and neural development. So you take it, and then you go to sleep. This is not a morning tea. Yeah, and then the conk out in the day. So we're also allowed edamame and arugula. What's arugula good for? It's just antioxidants. All right, so that is our telomere binding diet. We just went through it again, but we added all the secret ingredients like tomato sauce and our panda red stripe or red stripe or stripe. I'm a pathetic baby panda that does not know how to do anything right. You have to pass through the eye of Eywa as an ascended master. It's impossible on this planet. And ascended masters are forced to do the impossible. You're not gonna be graced by God ever. Oh my goodness. You're gonna be Beatrix Kiddo with your hand against a brick wall going Bombarda, and then your hand bleeds. I promise you, there will be nothing that you're allowed. You have to get through Netzach, and you have to deal with Maleficent, who's about to slaughter you. And then you have to deal with the Cabal. All right, we're being caught red-handed. Okay, am I allowed bath gloves? So this is our CRI test on bath gloves. Like, I'm like, how do I find bath gloves? I'm not allowed to go to a drugstore and buy bath gloves. Like, how do I find, like, what is certified organic cotton? All right, so what's the CRI analysis? So this has got like helping hands for cleaners in it. So it actually has an Ore Stripe astrally on it. So maybe I'm allowed to buy this brand. So like, the first thing is I'm not allowed to buy anything. Your first thing. So I need to be able to scrub my skin because I have to be clean. So how do I make sure I can do that? So bamboo shower gloves. So these are usually more eco-friendly. Natural body. So what's the CRI? So there's like a double Ore Stripe on this one. We don't know why. We're going to have to find those things out later down the road. But my natural intuition might be going, yeah, that one's good. CRI test, like this. This one's a confession. Like, I'm not allowed. The 9 best exfoliating gloves. We're Asians here. We have like Like Maleficent's our Asian mother. Let me say this again. You're in Ravenclaw, you're an Asian child. And you know that Maleficent's your Asian mother who's gonna murder you if you do anything wrong. Ever. And it doesn't matter if you're gonna be beaten to death by the cabal outside. Like, it's so real. That's life. That's just life. So best exfoliation gloves. So eco. So I'm finding a red stripe here. So I'm looking at, like, do I see any other best overall? So like, I'm gonna go to this link. So this is, I'm not gonna buy a glove that looks like that, but that's like a red stripe glove. Maybe I'm allowed to buy it. Okay. Then I go back here and like, how do I buy the red gloves? Because we're gonna be like, we're being caught red-handed. So how do I be creative? So we found this company, Eco Bath London, but we found it on Amazon. So if I buy it from here, it's an Auror stripe. So I'm buying it from the actual company instead of on Amazon. And then it has a better CRI return value. When I buy things because I'm gonna be cheap, then I get struck down by Maleficent. There are laws in the universe. When I buy it from here, it's like it takes care of our own company. When I buy it from Amazon, it's like it takes it down a third the return value on the company. So when I actually purchase it from the original company instead of Amazon, the money actually goes to Eco Bath London, which then they can produce. So what I had to actually go to this store to get the red gloves instead of going to Amazon. So just at Amazon, it's like it's 2/3 the price, and then it gets cut down because of like wholesale prices and like gross contracts. So I get a better CRI return when I go to Eco Bath London and I buy my nice glove here. So it's £2.50 more. So I'm going to tell you the story. I tried to buy the red gloves from Amazon and they sent me the white ones. And then I realized I did not have the ability to even choose my color from Amazon. So I was forced to go to the Eco Bath London to get the red gloves. And that sounds stupid, but there's a really deep wisdom teaching there. Like, why am I not going to the seller? I'm trying to buy things and cheap. I'm trying to cheap out, and then that lowers the CRI return. So there's this person called Michael Pollan on this planet. He talks about product value, the like upfront cost versus back end cost. So this has a better back end cost versus going through Amazon, which the back end cost is rape. Let me say this again. The back end cost to buying something from Eco Bath London is creating a sustainable business that would like to produce material for the future. The back end costs going through Amazon is rape. That means karmically, you may get kidnapped and raped physically. That level of back end cost just through the CRI analysis. Not joking. So with the shipping, so it's like 10 pounds. 10 pounds of red-handed. There we go. This is really effective in changing the way you think about purchases 100%, because there's always an upfront cost for everything. But then there's always a back end cost afterwards. Most people only think of product quality instead of the actual return on investment through supporting your current systems that you actually want to work. So this is the same. This is just this is just rape. Do you feel how this is just rape? Yeah, do you? Here we are, Eco Bath London again, the red gloves. So this is like, this is, we're obsessed with this. Period. I will have nothing more than this in my life, which is my red stripe is it's a rape purchase because it's taking stuff from the earth. We already know this. So I'm being caught red-handed. But at least I'm supporting the company that might actually want to do things. They're not perfect right now. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. They may be the hippies or the people that will do the 500 layers of change for the future. Let me say that again. These people might be the initiates that step up to do all the real change and product development for the future. And I would still like to fund their existence and to fund betterment of their product. All right, so that's the CRI test on red gloves. Now we're going to look at socks. Okay, how do I go shopping for wool socks? So I need clean, professional colored. I need clean, professional, so that all of my socks look like this. They're all like, they were all bought for creating a Gryffindor net sock. Period. I look like Hermione Weasley. I'm not joking. So like all of my socks are the different colored patterns, and it's all the like the cute knitted knitted material where it's like, we know our net sock is Gryffindor. Definitely. So how do I now, I need to look a little bit more professional and elegant as I'm beginning to mature and develop. So how do I buy my good red? So we're red striping. So how do I find my good merino wool socks? And so we found, like, here was our red stripe was like at 8, we're at 8 red stripes, or 7 reds. We're at 7 red stripes in this purchase. Not good. At the best, we were at 7 red stripes in this purchase. At the best. What's the back end cost? How do I get this Danish, like, how do I research where Danish endurance is in the physical world? Like, how do I look at their product? Where do I buy their product, which is a higher CRI return? So instead of looking at upfront cost, like cost analysis, like, oh, it costs 18 pounds. Like, what is my back end cost from going to Amazon versus going through another dealer? Now I found, like, I like these socks. How do I get these socks at a better return CRI? So the more magic, more karma free. It matters. It is the difference between life or death for people, and life or death for good people. Let me say that again. How do I find these socks, and bring in money to good, smart people? How do I use Amazon as like a shopping cart and then find good people and give them more money? Because I know the karma is rape. Physically. So that's what red striping is. I'm going to do the best return value in the karma, knowing that the trajectory includes my own demise or saving grace. The difference, so every professional athlete on this planet understands the difference between winning and losing could just be shaving their body hair. Let me say that again. The difference between financial independence and becoming a slave is shaving their body hair. So your CRI is everything. The difference between a knife going in me and me being able to redirect it is 5 pounds of muscle. Your CRI is everything. I have 500 plus open fire stickers outside directed at me. My CRI is everything. My extra 5 pounds of muscle is everything. My purchases are everything. So we got to the point where this shopping cart was about 7 or 8 red stripes. That's cool. Even with the black stripe socks, whatever. And then we started attracting the green stripes. So we went looking for higher quality merino wool that would be from Australia, because that was where it was higher quality return. That's such a cheap way to make your decisions. That's still so non-researched. Where's my green one? So we were attracting forest green, another forest green. We got that forest green, and then this was another forest green. That's blue, that's not green. So how do I find just good quality? How do I stop being stupid? How do I stop being stupid when I know what's the CR? So I get an order stripe here. Little less than an ore stripe here. We were saying pink marks here. That's why we pulled up the pink mark socks. We say like it's a confession because it's Scotland instead of Australian. We don't even know where the merino wools came from. So how do I find Australian merino socks? I know that's the best quality. I know that's the highest level of animal care. How do I promote their, how do I increase the value of their product? How do I increase the value of the karma return? So if that's at one order stripe, I'm way less likely to be slaughtered by Maleficent. So just remember, every single purchase you make is going to be like a life or death situation where you're either going to get through it by the grace of God, this is mandatory, and this is the lazy work. So this is red striping work. And then there's this. And right now, mine is in pink striping work. So there's a big difference between my red striping work and my pink striping work. Let me say this again. This is red striping work. So I'm allowed an hour, 2 hours a day of this. And this is pink striping work, and I'm allowed 8 hours a day of this. So this is Ravenclaw. And this is I'm Not a Squib. So this is Netsock, and this is Ravenclaw. Netsock, Ravenclaw. So you're going to be required to do your pink stripe even if you're in Gryffindor. So just get used to that. And we're going to talk about this homemade kimchi. So we have our jars. So we're going to stop the screen share, stop share. So this is all your intestinal wall repair. The cost value of kimchi is like a bottle that's half this size, and it's 7 pounds. So that's again. A bottle this size, a jar this maybe a little bit bigger, is 7 pounds. When I make kimchi, it's 4 of these. 4 of them, and it's 15 pounds. So the CRI return on buying kimchi versus the CRI return on making my own kimchi. Do you see? I can buy more expensive socks because I go and I make my own kimchi. And it looks good and it tastes the same. I'll say that again. It tastes the same, if not better. And I gain skills and talent. And I become more in tune with the Asian food market. So it has a better CRI return. We're going to talk about finding jars or collecting. So let's say your mate likes to get a sauce and it's in a funky looking jar, and it's a rad jar, and you know you have magic drops to do that you're going to have to fill jars in. And so like here, these are my olive jars. So this is Archangel Kamiel will survive. Archangel Kamiel will survive olive jars. And you see how it has like this ring that I'm gonna tie the Repello Spig Squibtum knot in it. All right, so I have those, and those I want to keep. But my boyfriend, or so Simon, so Simon buys this jar, and I want to fill these with olives to do the drops. To do the drops on the sacred space. And people, like initiates, can come and collect entire jars of olives from Kali. And there's something missing on here, and it's all the Repello Squibtum knotting. Oh my God. And I'm not allowed to buy this. That's stupid. What I am allowed to do is I'm allowed to create something, like I'm allowed to create knotting gates. What it is you create the ribbon where you have like holes in the ribbon. So every single time I see a hole where it's like I can attach another ribbon to it, it's like a missed bullet. Let me say that again. It's like the Windsors or the Cabal are actually gonna shoot me or shoot at me, and then they miss. Like, I'm not lying. So every single time what I do on this is that I attach I attach one of these, I tie one of these to every single like missed bullet. And then that's my magic through the red ray. And they're gonna do that because they're evil. They're evil. They're disgusting tyrants that actually would hire people to pretend they're homeless to taunt ascended masters, to sit outside ascended masters' homes, to torture the ascended masters about the actual homeless people that are outside their house. That's how evil the Windsors are. I'm watching it right now. So I have 2 of these little like missed bullets. Oh, that's like a federal murder charge. Yeah, so they don't care if it's a murder charge. So John Lennon was murdered. Martin Luther King was murdered. Gandhi was murdered. Everybody in history that's ever done anything significant was murdered, so that the Windsors could, and the Kennedys and the Vanderbilts and et cetera, could sustain. So we don't even could you even imagine if like the Kennedys killed their own family members? So then there's that question. Because they were cabal. So that's how bad it is. Monsanto kills farmers. So just know that. So we have 4 of them. So I tie it. Do you see how awesome? Do you see how much better that is than this thing? So do you see how not lazy I am? Do you get the pun? Like literally the level of not lazy is where the more reality of your chances of survival through this ascension will be like because you're not lazy. Instead of like, so that's Malkuth, is that I'm not going to sit around and watch television without nodding. That's dumb. Let me say that again. Like if I was when I have my children, when I have Anna and Elsa in my custody, if they're at school, they will and they're just sitting listening to lectures. If they're not taking notes, they're doing this. And I would sue the school if they were not allowed to do that. 100%. I am going to teach and educate. All right, so it's harder to do it on the reverse end. So now I gotta do this. My kids will have skills. And they will also join Ascended Master. They will join Ascended Masters and live through the future. And they will become successful because of talent. That's why we name them. We name them Elsa and Khaleesi Granger. They're not just like, they're not like Anna and Elsa, the princesses. They're Grangers, which means they'll have 4 degrees and skills. They have brains, talent. And they have the genetics to do all of that work. So we're a hardworking family. We're like, my little sister is like a Berkeley hippie lawyer that was an activist and like a human rights lawyer is what she kind of is. And so just so you like, the Grangers were workers. My mother was a worker. All right, so now we understand. So I have like, you see how I have 10 of these little loopholes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8. So now I can do 8 Rapello squib tubs and then drop this in the Windsor Palace garden and then try not to get shot at the same time. So I just created a spell. I created a spell and a type of magic. And it's good if I replicate that magic. So I spend, what this will be $6, 6 pounds of olives. Let me say 6 pounds of olives. Be good if I had 2 jars and that was like a double Aurora stripe gift. And then 8 Rapello squib tubs. A+. It will take me 4 hours of knotting just to do that. And we do that. And there's a reason we do that. All right. So that's cool for that jar. Now we're going to talk about other jars. So I have these honey jars and they're gorgeous. And they all have like the salvio, they're all the hexagonal jars. And the honey is really inexpensive. And if you go to a jar store, you find that buying a jar like this would cost you 3 to 4 pounds, which is the price of the honey to begin with. So I'm going to save all my jars. And I get all these miso jars and it has all the cool like, so when I save the jars, here's Gryffindor. So I had to buy these jars so they all looked alike and they were the correct kimchi, but everything else is like this. And then what I can do is I can put all my herbs. Let me say this again. I hate it when I open my closet or my cabinet and all the spices are in different bottles. They're all dumb. Everything looks dumb. So how am I going to store my acacia powder? How am I going to store my ancho powder? How am I going to store, like here, I'm going to store all my vanilla, my raw vanilla beans. I'm going to collect this. I'm not going to buy it. I'm just, every time I buy my miso every week, I just save my jar. Every time I buy my honey, I just save my jar. And then these are these were just not like nonsense jars. So that was cool. So that like jar saving, I'm not going to buy anything fancy. That's stupid. You know how you go to like Pier 1 and you go to like buy $500 worth of glass jars just to store your pasta in. That's stupid. So this is Gryffindor. I'm not allowed to do it. So you got, like, if I did it, Maleficent would kill me. So you guys aren't allowed to do it. Every time I save my jars, it's Gryffindor. Let me say that again. And it's another layer of Gryffindor. So this is Gryffindor, actual Gryffindor magic. Okay, so let's talk about this. So finding your recyclable coffee mug cup is really hard because everything is really, really bad quality until you find the one that actually is good quality that doesn't leak. And this is the best one I found. And it's still, we already talked about it, still is I will chop your head off. So this was 30 pounds. It was worth every penny. And it's in our Ravenclaw blue. It's still, it's like, I'm still like, I'm not allowed this. I'm not allowed that. All right. So we do things like buy our yogurt. And then we have our yogurt canister. So this is like for crafts. If you have children, like my brain it goes now, what do I use this for? What, like, why am I just gonna go and recycle it? What do I use it for? So instead, like, this is where we put all our junk paintbrushes or our crayons that get everywhere. So we start like learning how to actually become zero waste. Zero waste. Because I don't have my children with me, the idea that like, what am I gonna put in here? Am I gonna be putting like my blueberries for the blueberry Christmas tree are gonna go in the basket? Like, just like this purchase is illegal and it's a mandatory Christmas tree. Just let me tell you that again. This purchase is illegal and it's a mandatory Christmas tree. Okay, that's like just know that that's really where we're at in life. I love this. And it's not even done. Like, we haven't even started on the actual Repello Slim Tub knot. Now, is there any other, anything that there's nothing more other than just doing the work? All right, that's enough for today. Collie Run out.